Will we be able to raid across different realms in Valhalla? And what about that Origins crossover? Is that going to be coming this year? Well, I am a firm believer that both of those things will be arriving in 2022 because there is a lot of information to actually get through here, which one, I think you'll find interesting, but two, and if I should be so bold, it certainly nods to it all happening sooner rather than later. But let's first talk about realm raiding because it was in some of the earliest concept art produced by Ubisoft, and technically you could already say that we have raided in a different realm, that being Svartalfheim in the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC, where you could actually summon your longship by lobbing a small miniature into the water and then go on to raid the Muspels. But we've got 3 new ships here thanks to Peder, who's been rummaging around in the game files for us. The first one being the Egyptian Origins themed one, which we will talk about shortly, but the second here being a Thor and Jormungandr ship scheme, and our third being a Niflheim frost-based ship with the Muspelheim emblem embossed on the Jomsviking shields. Now initially, these all do look like they should be a part of some sort of Helix pack, as we have seen ship schemes found in the game files months before their Helix pack counterparts were actually made available. A good example of this was when the Werewolf ship scheme was leaked by Peder 5 months in advance before the pack was released in the store. But these are different though, as Peder tells me, as they're not noted as actually being part of a Helix pack at all, but rather flagged as being individual rewards given to the player after certain objectives are met. Now that's applicable to all 3 ships, by the way, not just the Origins scheme. On top of that, there's also been some interesting changes made by Ubisoft on the 3 armor sets in the game, which Peder has spotted for us. We've got the Hell's Damnation, Draugr, and the Niflheim armor sets that have had all of their torso armor slots in the infantry graphically altered from a standard breastplate image to something that looks to incorporate a full body armor set. Now, another good comparison of this type of armor thumbnail is that of the Legacy outfits, where you can actually see the full armor set on the icon, but that begs the question, why change the visuals on 3 Helix armor sets now when they were released in 2020 and early 2021? Now, this is where all of the mental gymnastics are currently occurring for me. I think there's something afoot here, and I've got a feeling that these 3 may perhaps be the rewards for the river raids, or perhaps a reskinned transmog outfit which we earn from defeating 3 bosses at the end of each realm raid, which we can then access through the 3 portals in Ravensthorpe, and more on that in a second. Because whilst we're on the topic of bosses, Peder has found a new icon in the game which I reckon may in fact be the realm raid boss badge we can see on our maps, and I don't believe we've actually had a horn helm based design before, and I would say it's quite similar to the Sinmara's chosen icon from the 3 roaming bosses in the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC, so some healthy speculation there. Additionally, as far as I'm aware, the only armor set in the game that has horns on the helmet is coincidentally the Hell's Damnation set, which is one of the armor sets we just discussed having its graphic panel changed. And on top of that, Peder's also found multiple references to a boss fight against the god Hel, who rules Helheim in the game files, which is very juicy stuff indeed. And I kind of feel like we're in a Sherlock Holmes novel with some sort of Norse undertones, and I wish there were some assassins there, but alas, not this time, maybe in the next game. But that's all well and good. But what realms are we actually going to be raiding? Well, before we do tuck into that, if you have found this video informative so far, please do leave a like down below. It generally really helps me out, so thank you very much. Now, Jose Ariza, post-launch producer of Valhalla, said to Your Raptor in an interview last year when referring to the 3 portals in Ravensthorpe, yes, indeed they are portals, and you will find out what they are in the next drop of the Mastery Challenges. Well, the second round of the Mastery Challenges has been and gone, so internal decisions surrounding these portals have changed since Yours interview, which is a great example of how quickly things are changing behind the scenes, I think. And I've popped a link to Yours interview in the description down below, by the way. Do check that out. But what I would say is Jose did go on to comment on the thematic art direction of each portal, which we can deduce as being Muspelheim in regards to the Fiery Realm portal, Helheim for the Frosty Cold portal, and Alfheim, which is home to the Light Elves, which we learned in the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC that the Muspels had actually invaded and destroyed. So we've got ourselves 3 portals and 3 speculative realms here, and to add a little bit more flavour to that hypothesis, because Peder has found a new lava or magma based weapon model in the game files, which certainly could be a realm raid reward following suit with previous river raid rewards, as it doesn't seem to be attached to any upcoming Helix pack at present. And the same thing goes for this big 2-hander from Ibsarp, who's also found it in the game files. It's not noted as being part of any sort of weapon pack as well, but rather an individual item, kind of like St. George's sword from the river raids, and both of their designs do seem to be heavily influenced by of mythological concepts rather than your just standard looking swords that we'd get in any old river raid. We don't have any stats on them right now, but I'm sure we'll be able to have a good look at them soon when Pedder and Ibsarp do some more digging for us, so do stay tuned for that. But when it all comes down to it, this is what I'm theorizing. Could we visit each of these 3 realms via the Ravensthorpe portals, where we defeat 3 mythical bosses at the end of each one, as noted by these new icons Pedder's found in the game files, as well as that boss battle referenced as Hell? It also seems that we'll be able to obtain mythical weapons, and the 3 mythology-based Helix armor sets could act as legacy-orientated transmog rewards instead of the full armor sets that we've seen in previous River Raid iterations, as a kind of reward for defeating each godly boss in each realm. Furthermore, we've got those 2 new ship designs not yet attached to any Helix pack in the game files, and they're certainly very fitting when it comes to exploring and pillaging the mythical realms. They definitely look the part in my opinion, but do bear in mind we could very much be off piece here, but without an official roadmap from Ubisoft, which we're currently lacking after the most recent Armory update, that places us in this position that we're in, which is lots of speculative chat, so do take this all with a healthy dose of positive skepticism, I would say. But what's clear to me is that there is a lot of things going on behind the Valhalla developer veil at present, as Pedder has recently found a refresh of the festivals that have been added to the game files after the recent 1.5.2 update, which have historically brought in the start of a new season with new content in Valhalla. These being the Sigablot Oscaria annual festival, which we've already seen in 2021 and we're now likely to see again in 2022. I do think this is important, as it means that Valhalla does plan to run until the end of this year, which is when I think Ubisoft will conclude its support for the game and then fully focus on its future installments such as Rift and Infinity. But before that happens, why not try and encourage players to try out some of the Dawn of Ragnarok godly abilities through this free Realm Raid game mode as a kind of showcase of what the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC has to offer to tempt players to make the purchase. Ubisoft did the same with the Wrath of the Druids DLC and the Siege of Paris DLC with the River Raids, so why not do it here with their 3rd DLC, the Dawn of Ragnarok? Now, as for the Origins crossover, will that be happening? Because there's a lot of chat about it at the moment. Well, I think it will, but not until around September, in time for the 15th anniversary of Assassin's Creed. But I would love to be wrong there and would very much welcome it sooner. But the reason why I say September is because we're about to get a 60 FPS Origins update across all platforms that will be arriving on the 2nd of June. And depending upon when you watch this video, it may already be out right now. And this lines up really nicely with Origins being added to the Xbox Game Pass on the 7th of June, according to the Game Pass app. And it also falls within that 2-month release window that Megan Spur, community lead at Xbox Game Pass, stated back in April. So big ticks there. Now, the same 60 FPS update occurred to Odyssey on August 23rd last year, and then we went on to receive the Valhalla and Odyssey crossover on the 14th of December, which was around 4 to 5 months later. Melisanthe Mahu was also seen on Instagram, the voice actress of Cassandra, back in the studio recording on August 14th of last year, a couple weeks just before the 60 FPS update for Odyssey. So we can approximately say, based on this example, it takes around 4 to 5 months to get this crossover content shipped for consumers. Now, when it comes to Origins, Alex Wilton Reagan, who voices Aya, as well as Melisanthe, have both recently posted on Instagram saying that they're back in the studio this year, presumably recording more Assassin's Creed content, which was actually back in February and March, so not too long ago. So if we sling 4 to 5 months on top of that, we're potentially looking at a release window between June and September. And as mentioned prior, I'd love to see this released as soon as possible, but I do have that feeling that it won't happen until Ubisoft places Origins on their PlayStation Plus offering, which is currently active, by the way, but just with limited game titles at the moment. That said though, Ubisoft have already stated they plan to release all of their Ubisoft Plus games, which includes Origins, onto the PlayStation subscription model as the year progresses. And what better way to get people back into Origins if players can download it for free if they're already an Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus subscriber, ensuring they hit the full market. Now, to back up this Origins crossover even more, Pedder's gone and found 3 new tattoo sets in game. The first one being the Cleopatra tattoo set, the second being the Pharaoh base set, and the third being the Sphinx set, which hasn't yet been located visually in the files. Furthermore, we do do have the Egyptian naval pack inbound, and if you played the Odyssey crossover, you may remember that we actually earned the Eagle Bearer tattoo scheme and the Adrestia longship scheme on the Isle of Skye. So this is all adding up pretty nicely, I would say. Now, if we go ahead and combine all of that information with the inbound Summer Game Festival arriving on the 9th of June, with the suspected Ubisoft Forward event rumored to be occurring within the next couple months, on top of the fact that Ubisoft have recently just added a hidden video to their official Valhalla YouTube playlist, we are about to get a lot of new information. So if you do want to stay up to date with everything Assassin's Creed, make sure you do subscribe so you can find your way back here easily. I'm sure we've got a lot of interesting stuff to discuss very soon. Big thanks go out to Pedder, who continues to bring us this cutting edge AC info, and Nika for snapping some awesome pics and footage. So thank you both. And of course, my genuine thanks goes out to you reloaders who support the channel with your own hard-earned cash. I am very grateful. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next video. Coffee is, of course, on me.